Hi, friends. Thanks for joining us. It's been a while. We're back. Jet season, kind of ish, just finished. Bomber season, rookie camp just started today. NHL playoffs going on right now. I see. It's been so long now that I can't even remember how to do an intro. Benny, where can they find us on social media?
Yeah, you can check us out on Facebook, at Ray Benny Sports on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Holy, yeah, I'm having a hard time remembering these two. Check us out also on Reddit and Discord. And don't forget, leave us a rating on your favorite podcast provider.
And
Woo.
do us a huge favor and smash that subscribe button.
Yes.
Wow, it's been a while. Everything's all jimbly jambly all over the place. Kind of like the Winnipeg
Ooh.
Jets season, which we'll get
Ooh.
into later. But let's start off with the CFL and the new and improved CFL playoff format. Thoughts on the new format? You can lead. Go ahead on this one.
I love it. It's a great idea. Yeah, no, I'm just kidding.
For sure, you're lying.
Yeah, no, I don't like it. I mean, you're allowing 8 of 9 teams here to now make the playoffs, and yes, two of those games are a play-in kind of type of thing,
I'm
but
sure
you're
they are.
branding it as playoffs. So now 8 of 9 teams are making the playoffs, right? To me, it's laughable, and I get the idea that they're trying to get behind more revenue, more games, and all that stuff. But to me, I look at it and I think I look at the regular season and I'm going, yeah, those games aren't as meaningful anymore. Um, that push after Labor Day was always the excitement of the season. I'm not sure if that's going to be there anymore, that excitement. And I know, yes, the games matter because the seeding matters and all that stuff, but you could potentially have a team well below 500 that ends up making a run. And I know it'll be tough, but it can happen. And hey, it may happen in the first year of this next year in 2027 when it starts. So to me, that chances of that happening not look good on the league. Plus, allowing 8 of 9 teams into your playoffs does not look good for me on the CFL.
I don't think either that it's a perfect situation here. But I do think part of it is horrible branding by the CFL. So the CFL historically has been horrible at rebranding itself and bringing new ideas to the table. This easily could have been brought in a lot simpler as even an added week 22 play-in situation, and the two other teams are playing for home field and a bye. That gives you another week in the CFLs. If they rolled it out like that, it would have been a lot easier to digest. I'm not saying fans would have loved it anymore. They still would have been looking back and complaining because that's what CFL fans do. We complain all the time and we have every right to because it's a small league and we love it. But I think that was a part of the huge problem with the CFL. They never know how to roll shit out, and they failed on this again. Because in the end, I do think it's a good idea to bring in revenue. And like you said, year in and year out, the race to the playoffs begins when? After Labor Day. That's not changing. Yes, you can have a 4-14 team. In a very bad year, you can have a 500 team win the division and still have a 4-14 team make the playoffs. It's not as high probability now with 8 out of 9 teams making it, but that's still a possibility. So I don't think it's a problem in regards to games mattering any less, to be honest with you. The first 9 games of the season, attendance is pretty strong in the strong markets. Toronto, you kind of give up on Toronto anyways in their market because they can't figure it out. They've kind
Hey,
of figured
dude,
out
they
in
got dollar hot
BC.
dog night coming up. So,
Well, they also have WWE night. So they
yeah.
got to figure, but they got to try. They got to try things out and do whatever they can. But I don't think attendance will suffer early in the season because that's when folks are excited about it. And when teams start playing for the last few spots and to get that either home field or playoff possibility, I don't think that's going to make teams rest players anymore. So I think it's still going to be exciting and close football. And that's what's got to bring fans to the stadium. And I really think it puts the onus on owners and ownerships groups to make the game day experience as best as they can. Because the CFL has been lagging on that for decades now. Like that is a problem across a lot of markets. The game day experience. Like they got to up their games on that. Like any which way and any which format the playoffs are in. But it also
Yeah.
means that a team can't win or get into the Grey Cup with a single game. It gives fans an extra week of meaningful football.
I don't like this whole. I know it's only one game to get to the Grey Cup, but you played 18 games to get that right to play one game and get in the Grey Cup, right? You finish first in the West or the East. I mean, it should mean something. Yes, I get a team could win first, and the East has done it lately quite a bit with a 9-8 record, or sorry, a 9-9 record, right? That does happen for sure. But a team that finished 14-4, they should get that right to play that one game. And there should be no complaints about it. I mean, they played 18 strong games to get there. But to me, too, you look at it now, and I guess it does give you a bit of revenue for that. What is fifth playing eight, sixth? So there's two home games that those teams would not have got, right? Fifth or sixth wouldn't have got a home game in the playoffs at all. But
Yeah.
to me, now you get that first and second playing each other. You get now that team wins gets a bye. So it's like you're still resting for another week. I don't necessarily like that either because now you're taking a break while that second place or that loser plays a game. And I know it makes it tough because now you've played two games in a row, but they're coming in rolling while you're coming in off a break. So it's almost like winning the division anyways. You got
That's
a
what
bye
it is
week.
now.
Oh, I know. So it's almost the same thing, but you're just going to play a 19th game, win that, rest for another week, and then play another game. So you often see it a lot where that team doesn't even win that game and get to the Grey Cup finals, right? There's a lot of times where the first place team loses. So I don't know. You're adding an extra game for wear and tear on these guys' bodies when you want to see the best of the best in the Grey Cup. Teams can get lucky, obviously, right? But I want to see guys healthy. I want to see a healthy Grey Cup.
Yeah.
So I'm not necessarily buying into this. Talking about attendance, though, you've had a lot of people speak out about this online, right? A lot of people speaking about the rule changes coming up that were already introduced, right? So now you got a lot of people going, crap, I'm not going to these games anymore. And they were diehards, right? So how are you going to replace those guys? And I know a lot of people are just talk. They'll say, oh, I'm not going anymore. I'm not going anymore.
For
And they'll
sure.
still be there. But there will be the ones that say, screw it, I'm not going, or I'm going to wait till later in the season to go. So I think obviously time will tell in this and how this works. And we'll see what the attendance. To me, if a team right off the bat, 4-14 wins this next year when the rule changes, I think that's going to be a huge black eye right off the bat. And the other thing is, and I know there's not a lot of the trades in the CFL, but that trade for Claros back then doesn't happen with this new format, right? Because Toronto at 4-14 could still be in the playoffs at that time. So they're not trading Claros. So
Kalaris
you're
wasn't
taking away
playing.
that option. Hey?
Kalaris wasn't playing on that team. He's a back ender.
Yeah, but he was still part of that, and you're going to keep him if you have a
Why?
chance to go into the playoffs. Why would you get rid of him?
I don't know if you still got a good deal for a backup quarterback that you aren't playing anyways.
Yeah, but guys get hurt, right? And why would you take that chance, trade your backup guy for someone, a first rounder the next year, and then all of a sudden your starter gets hurt, and you're like, oh crap, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it takes away, and again, there's not a lot of trades anyways in the CFL, right? But it kind of kills that whole branch altogether unless a team is absolutely shit in the bed and has no chance, early or late. But what was the other thing I saw? Someone can now clinch a playoff spot in July. And I know it could have happened now, even with this league, but
Yeah.
there's a
I think
better
these
chance of that happening.
extenuating these situations that people are dreaming out is doom and gloom. Like sure it can happen. Sure. It can happen now. It can happen now. So
I will say I like the earlier start, but I don't like the May long weekend start because especially in here, you got cabins in Manitoba and Canada. Really, people with cabins love getting out to lake on that May long weekend. So now I don't mind sitting there watching a Bomber away game. I don't want to miss the home game because it's the first one of the season, but chances are I'm going to because I'm at the lake instead of a Bomber game possibly or whatever it is, right? So I like the earlier start and the earlier ending, but I don't like the May long weekend start.
you own a cabin?
Yes.
I don't mind the start.
Yes, but a lot of people who own the cabin will mind that start,
Well, that's
right?
Save some seats for some folks who aren't going to the cabin. Then let
That's
them
why
come on
I
out.
I love the Thursday games. A lot of people don't love the Thursday games, but I actually like the Thursday games. You know,
Yeah,
works a little bit rougher on Friday, but you just got to get through one day, really.
I'm very confident in cabin country, Manitoba, that the Bombers have figured this out and they'll be able to fill that stadium for opening if we do open on May long.
Open it on Monday when
On
everyone
what?
comes back. Monday of the long weekend.
Oh, they'll figure it out. They won't have to do that. That's ridiculous. Which Bomber draft? Oh, Bomber fans, put your opinion on this new CFL playoff format. Which Bomber draft pick excites you the most? For me, it's got to be Kevin Klein. I really love offensive linemen, and I think this is a good one for the Bombers. They got him in the second round. And yes, of course, he's signed with Miami, but like, I don't understand sometimes these people online. Like, have you not been around CFL history? Since when is the expectation for any of these guys to be game one starters? It's usually a project 2, 3 years. So why not have a guy with the potential of getting seasoned in the? He just got a Miami Dolphins, whatever undrafted free agent contract. So if he's going to season some more, like sometimes CFL guys go back to U Sports or CIAU, whatever, to season more. This guy's going to Dolphins training camp possibly to get some reps in. So I think that's more beneficial for the. I really like Kyle Walters' draft, by the way. He swung for the fences on this one, but I really like Kevin Klein for the Bombers. He excites me the most. He might not be here for 2, 3 years, but hopefully eventually he gets here.
Yeah, and I agree with you on the fact that hey, if he can go to Miami and practice in that system, even if he's not playing, probably better than sitting around here on the practice roster. You know, and chances are, again, he's undrafted free agent, right? So his chances of making Miami, you know, they're not very good right off the bat. But you know, if he's got an opportunity to make it out there and do something while, you know, and practice a little bit more, make some money out there, hey, great, why not? Because yeah, chances are he's not playing next year anyways, or this year for the Bombers, kind of thing, right? So.
Well,
I'm
we're
going
good
to
at
go
tackle with Stanley Bryant and
exactly. We
um,
don't, and the Bombers' depth on O line is actually pretty decent this year.
yeah,
Uh, you know, bringing in Broxton and
Jarrell
uh,
Broxton thing. Sorry,
the other guys that they have, and the guys they drafted in here too. I'm pretty sure they had another O line in this draft as well, right? So
very smart.
yeah, I like the Dante Daniels pick. I'm kind of excited just because there was the one clip I saw of Walters talking about it. This guy and this he's a menace and whatever all that stuff. He's big, he's physical, and he brings that present a big presence to the receiving core, which you know you should be excited about because I was reading about him and the fact that he could be involved in the jumbo packages, right? With
Yes.
What is his name? Tui Eli? Why am I
Mm-hmm. Tuieli.
possibly becoming the center this year for the Bombers? That takes him out of those packages. You remember his touchdown from last year. So
Beautiful.
now this has a chance maybe for Dante Daniels to overtake that spot and allow the Bombers to do more of that big package, jumbo package, and even closer to the goal line kind of plays. So yeah, I'm excited to see, and I'm excited to see his physicality because that's what they talked about a lot.
Yeah. Like he reminds me, and he if he goes to the CFL, he could be like that Mount Washington for Pittsburgh, the tight end that they have. Just a huge guy who can be just an extra lineman. They probably won't
Yeah,
use him as a tight end as much, but something like that. That's
right, exactly.
crazy.
Yeah.
Which CFL draft pick excites you the most?
I'm going to go with the Winnipeg boy drafted first overall. And I know it's an old lineman and it's not all that exciting, but Giordano Vaccaro getting drafted there is pretty exciting to me. Winnipeg boy, Italian kid as well. So that's a big plus. You don't see too many Italians getting drafted very high in the CFL, NFL draft. So I'm excited to see what he can do because he's a big boy, big baller. Kind of was hoping, you know, the Bombers would kind of trade up there, but yeah, it'll be exciting to see how he turns out in his CFL career.
Yeah. I'm excited to see him too. I'll be cheering for him from the sideline or from the whatever the stands. I'm gonna stick with the Bombers. I know I'm biased, but I'm gonna go with the Gatkuth, the D lineman from Wake Forest. Like, if he finds his way to the Bombers, he could be a menace. Like, dude played at Wake Forest. That's some good NCAA Division One football, and he's going to
Hmm.
Denver, I think. So, in regards to guys getting some seasoning, so shout out to that guy. I'm really looking forward if he comes to the CFL. He could be a beast. A rusher, Canadian. Shoot.
Wasn't Celestin have a Canadian or no? Am I thinking wrong?
I think you're thinking of what's his name?
Oh
Uh,
no, Bennett.
no, yeah, Anthony Bennett. He's U of M, and there's
Yeah,
also what's his name? Oh, and then he went to BC. He went to Denver as well. What's his name? He
not
played
Congo, right?
Jonathan Kongbo.
Oh, okay.
He's Canadian.
Oh, that's
Didn't
right.
work out.
Yeah.
Didn't
No,
work out.
it worked out because they won the Grey Cup with him. But
Yes. Then he left, and then it
yes,
didn't work out for him.
yes, exactly.
Sorry, Brad. Uh, are you concerned about the Bombers QB room?
No, I think I'm actually pretty excited about it. I know the depth behind or the experience behind Kolaros is not great. With Taylor, I always have trouble. Elgersma, you got Terry Wilson still there, but I mean the Bombers didn't trust him very much, right? To put him in last year over Strebler. But yeah, I'm excited to see what Elgersma can do. Especially in the preseason and that. But I am concerned. My only concern would be if Kolaros got hurt. Would there be enough experience there? But I like our QB room compared to what it was last year, and the experience you can necessarily get in the CFL. I do like it better than last year. I'll tell you that. But there's concerns.
Yes, I am concerned. For the primary reason that you mentioned. If Zach Caleros goes down, we are screwed. Yes, Bryce Perkins looks possibly crazy good. You know, he's been with the Rams when they won a Super Bowl. He's had that experience there. UFL MVP, possibly great athlete, opens things up with his mobility, but we don't know. He still has to adapt to the Canadian game. Terry Wilson clearly is not ready in the Bombers' eyes, or they would have given him the football a lot more with a lot more confidence. Elgersma, rookie. Like, what are we banking on here? If Zach Caleros gets hurt, and they did upgrade the O line in the offseason, but if he gets hurt, non-contact injury, it's not looking good.
Yeah, I mean you never know. But yes, now that we talk about this a little bit more, it does bring up more of a concern in that sense, right?
Like
You never know.
that's a
Maybe Elgersma is
primary
the next, the coming the next one, right?
that's a
Or maybe
primary
Perkins is.
job of the QB room behind the starter is to be able to play and replace the starter if he goes down. And they can't do that right now. Ugh.
Well, I'm assuming Wilson or Perkins is going to be that number two for the most part. Elgersma, but I don't know who's doing the rushing. Terry Wilson, I guess, did it a bit last year, like the short yardage rushing.
Not very good.
But he was okay. Yeah, exactly. He was not. So I don't know how Perkins. Maybe he's a bit better at that. But to me, I almost rather see Perkins than Wilson because they didn't have a lot of faith in Wilson last year.
Wilson,
So
there's no way that guy makes his team. There's no way that are they going to cut Elgersma? Are you serious?
no, they're not going to cut Elgersma,
So
but
then
they
Bryce
could.
Perkins must be making this team. Must be, in my opinion, he must be an upgrade over Terry Wilson at this point. Like Terry Wilson's being brought in because he knows the playbook. And I'm not saying this because I know him very well or I've looked at film. I'm just going off of opportunities the Bombers themselves have given this dude. So I have a hard time believing he's going to be sticking around after training camp, bro, or during.
Yeah, Perkins, you're talking about. I don't know, man. Like, it's hard because if they trusted Wilson, they would have let him play last year.
Exactly.
So I
I'll put my
think
money on
Perkins actually
Perkins.
has a
I
Perkins
think
must
Perkins
have
will
a good
stay.
shot at this.
Good luck.
I guess we'll see. I mean, rookie camp started today, like you mentioned. So, once we start seeing some of these guys in practice, exhibition games will, for what they are, will be telling a little bit, right? To see if these guys can adapt. But that's the thing, I guess, right? Perkins has got to adapt now to this different game that it is than the NFL. So
Exactly. Gotta adapt quick.
yeah, could be interesting.
It'll be very awesome and interesting. Which Bomber from any era would you put on the 2026 Bombers? This is a shout out to Winnipeg Sports Weekly for posing this question. Not exactly in those words. I'm going to pick Tyrone Jones. There's no doubt I'm picking Tyrone Jones. I think of the shot of energy and attitude he'd bring and looking at last year's D-line, they definitely need help getting to the quarterback. And I know they got Jake Serezna. I'm very excited. Can't wait. But if they had Tyrone Jones rushing either on the same side as Willie Jefferson or on the other side, that would be crazy. So I'm going to say Tyrone Jones. I was going to think O-line a bit, but I think they're set right there for now.
That's the thing, right? You go through every position and you're kind of like, okay, obviously Chris Walby, I would take him over Bryant and Broxton, but I'm good with Bryant and Broxton, right? Like they're good enough. Then you go in guards, it's like, we're not probably the greatest there, so maybe you could throw someone in there. QB, would you take Matt Dunnigan over Zach Colaros kind of thing, right? Milt Stegall, would you pencil him in? But you're like, our receivers are actually pretty good
Yeah.
for the most part. And you know what? I had Tyrone Jones on my list as well, and maybe I can go James West. But now that I've said his name, I think he'd be a game changer. I would put Milt Stegall on this team, and I didn't necessarily wasn't going to go with him until I mentioned him there, but I
Yeah.
think I would go with Milt because he would be a game changer. Um, and that guy would probably his experience and his leadership would help bring this team. And I know he did not win a Grey Cup in his time here, but I think the way this team is formed now, I think Milt would make a huge difference, especially with this receiving core that we have.
Yeah, no doubt, eh? Shoot, maybe you could play right now the shape that guy's in.
He probably still could. Going back to the season thing, the playoff thing, I wanted to see more of a debate on Twitter between him and Brady Oliveira because they kind of had differing views, but I don't think it went beyond the couple comments, and that was it.
Oh, if they want to come on here and talk about it, come on, doors open. We'll shut our microphones and screens
I
off.
just sit there and watch, man, grab some popcorn, and that's it.
Exact. Get your popcorn. Like T.O. would say, your favorite receiver of all time.
Oh, yeah, he was for a bit, not of all time.
Who is set to have a breakout season for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers?
I'm going to go back to this O line, and I'm expecting a breakout season from Gabe Wallace at the guard position.
Mm.
Second year now being a starter. I'm assuming he's got that position wrapped up. Who knows? But I expect kind of that Liam Dobson, hopefully that Liam Dobson kind of leap where in his second season, I believe, right? Or third was it at the time? He kind of took that next step and became a dominant guard. And that's really what we need here, right? Because we got our outside tackles are going to be good, but we got question marks inside, right? And
Yeah.
I know Pat Newfeld's returning, but at the same time, we've seen him kind of decline over the years. Eli is gonna be our center, possibly. I keep messing up his name. I'm sorry, dude.
It's okay.
And
Lots of time.
and now, so if we can get Gabe Wallace can take that next step and become a dominant left guard, at least we solidified that side of the line.
Yeah, I see him having a big season too. He's gonna be a road grader. He's just gonna dominate people, I think. I'm gonna go with the free agent pickup Tommy Neal. I think he's that safety valve receiver that's been kind of missing. And not to say that I'll get like 1,200 or whatever yards. Like, I think he only got like 500 something, a little under 600 last year. I think he can get like 750, 800 with maybe, 7, 8 touchdowns. Like, not to say that Nick Dembski hasn't been a great safety valve, but he's kind of had to go primary some games because of Dalton Schoen being injured. So he hasn't really been able to fill that role. And who knows what role he'll fill this year. He'll be across the board. Hopefully he'll be that Canadian Swiss Army knife or whatever we want to call it. But yeah, I see Tommy Neal having a great season. Did Nick Dembski too. He's kind of like Gerald Wilcox when he played later in his career. Just got better with age for a couple of seasons in Winnipeg.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about our wide receiver core again. I know a couple years ago there with Lawler, can't remember what that Walt Lawler shown Dembski, and we are like, is this the greatest wide receiver core the Bombers have ever had, kind of thing? And it
Yeah.
didn't really pan out to be that way, right? But
No.
I'm excited about Tim White, Pokey Wilson, Dembski, Clarcias, Tommy Neild, and all that group, and seeing what they can do. Like I can't wait for the season to start. And that's the biggest thing goes back to our O line. If they can block for Claros, we with Brady Oliveira in there too.
Yeah.
This offense needs to take that next step, right, and be consistent.
So with that said, with all these possible weapons and this offense, seeing who the Bombers are now, but also taking into consideration the results of last year, who is the class of the West Division? Has the Saskatchewan Roughriders taken that crown with that Grey Cup win, or are the Bombers still seen as a class of the West Division as previously being 5-time Western Division champions in a row?
To me, I got to see it on the field first and see where it goes. So I got to, unfortunately, still give it to the Riders right now. They are Grey Cup champions, West Division champions. Very good, dominant season last year. So to me, until I see this Bomber team on the field and what they look like, I still got to give it to Saskatchewan, unfortunately.
I'm going to give it to Winnipeg. I think Winnipeg had a way better offseason.
I agree
Yes,
with you there.
Saskatchewan did well. I think when you lose someone like AJ Allen to Ottawa, a Canadian like that on your defense, that's risking a lot, not just ratio wise, but just locker room wise. And I think there's a little more consistency with Winnipeg. There's still that veteran core that stayed together. And you got Mike O'Shea who stayed along. I just think the Bombers are still the team to beat in the West. That's acknowledging, yes, Saskatchewan's Grey Cup champions, but they haven't proven anything consistently yet. And I like to see them on the field do it again before I give them the cream of the crop crown in the West. I'm still going to give it to the Bombers going into this season.
The West Division is going to be interesting this year, right? Because you saw Edmonton come on late and strong with Cody Fajardo. Can they
Yes.
do it again? Are they going to be that good? Calgary had a very good start to the season, kind of tapered off. Their defense was very good. Vernon Adams was Vernon Adams, right? Some good games, some bad games, and whatever.
Yep.
BC with Nathan Rourke's going to be dangerous, right? So I think it's going to be a very tough division this year.
Heck yeah.
Again, like, yeah, and we'll see where it goes and see what the teams look like in the East. But you could very well see another crossover coming, from the West Division.
Yes.
It's gonna be fun.
Do you think Nathan Rourke's going to win the MOP consecutively? First time since Zach Caleros did it in 21, 22.
I think so. The way he plays and just the receivers he has and the way that offense is built, and it's a very pass heavy offense. Plus his legs, Nathan Rourke's legs are just it's crazy how well he runs and how quick he is. So yeah, I think he's probably in line to win that award again.
I think Brady
Top of
Oliveira
the
is going to
line.
win it this year.
Who?
He's gonna sweep it. Brady Oliveira this year. He's gonna have a crazy year. I'm
That
telling
it's
you,
gonna
I'm excited.
it's gonna be interesting in this Tommy Condell offense, right? Because uh, he's not known for having being a running guy, Tommy Condell, right?
Yep,
But you have that weapon in Brady Oliveira, and you have to use him,
for
right?
sure.
And
For
having
sure.
these receivers now should open things more up for Oliveira, right?
Yes,
So
and I
yeah,
think
I'm
his
excited to see it.
touchdowns will go up without Strevler.
Yes, and that's the thing. Without it, depending Perkins, Wilson, whoever is that guy, on the goal line, why not use Oliveira
Just
more,
give it to
right?
Oliveira. Quit effing around.
Even do the wildcat and freaking let him snap the ball from under center and just pound his way in.
Come on, more Oliveira. MOP year. Can't wait. Let's move on to some Winnipeg Jets talk. One word to describe the Jets season. You can go first.
Ugh, I got so many words, and I'm just gonna stick basic and just go disappointing. Like after that President's Trophy win last year, and I know the playoffs really, and I keep seeing this Manitoba Miracle goal, and it's like it doesn't excite me. It's just like that never should have happened.
Let
You
it
know,
go.
that goal should have never been a miracle in the first place for the Jets to even win that series. So it doesn't. I don't know. I don't. To me, it's just like whatever. You know, and then watching this coming into this season, and watching you sent me this clip of Arniel's press conference talking about guys playing at 50, 60% throughout the season. It's like, what are we doing? Why are we playing guys who are hurt?
Yeah.
Because we have to. Because there was no trust in the system. There's no trust in this youth. Chevy's, and we'll talk about this probably a little bit more in this bit. Chevy's offseason signings last year were terrible. So there was nothing for Arniel to do at that point and make any changes. And they don't trust their youth with the Moose.
No, there's no youth in the Moose. I'm going to say, well, I did have disappointing, but then I'll just go with trash. To go from President's Trophy to like Big Poppy going to Cancun. That's what happened with the Jets. It's crazy. Like how that's just the worst possible season you can have after winning the President's Trophy. And like you said, it was the off season. Like he sat on his hands and not. I shouldn't. No, we'll get into this in a bit. We'll get into this in a bit. Trash. Do you think the Jets should have retained Chevy and Arniel? This is going into the upcoming season, yeah?
Yes.
I think yes. I think yes, but I think there should have been an addition to this hockey ops team. I don't know if it's vice president of hockey operations, some middleman in between Chevy and the coach to bring in some new thought because the drafting has gone flat. The cupboards are almost bare. I know there's a little flash about the goalie, la da da, and you have a couple forwards, maybe, but really the cupboard is almost bare. So whatever strategy they had, especially the fact that you right now have a top 10 pick in a very, not very deep draft, but a good draft in your top 10 to 20 picks. Like I think you need to bring in some fresh blood somehow, but I don't think a full sweep out of thing would have benefited where they're at right now because I think they're still in a window. They're not starting all over again. They still have these contracts. They still have a core with Shifley, Lowry, Hellebuck. They're still a core, unless they're ready to disband that and start all over again. I still think you keep these fools and hopefully they do a good job. But I think you should have brought in some new blood.
I agree with you on the new blood. I'm done with Chevy in a way because since the Patrick Laine pick, our draft picks have been horrendous, especially the top end of things, right? And Cole Perfetti is really the only guy that's played, and even he is hit and miss consistently, right? You got guys here like Billy Hanel was your draft, Christian Versalainen. Like these are the guys. Those picks should be those guys that are in your lineup right now, but they're not, and you want to complain, and Chevy likes to talk about Chaz Lucius a lot, right? Sure, he's probably playing right now if he doesn't get sick and doesn't get an illness and all that stuff. But again, what have you done since that? And even seeing Brad Lambert in this lineup, late in the season, he did some good things. Would he have been better just playing this whole season instead of signing guys like Gustav Nyquist with his one goal,
Ugh.
Tanner Pearson, right? The only signing I actually liked and he did well was Kopecky, right? And you just again, Salamanson wouldn't have played if no one got hurt on D. So again, you're not moving guys up. You're not giving the opportunity. Arniel, I think it was, who even said, "Hey, Salamanson wasn't in the plans for this year." So if you're keeping Chevy, something's got to change in the scouting department because that's not working, right? You got no hope in these guys. Colby Barlow is playing fourth line minutes on the Moose. Brandon Yeager, I don't know what's going on there. Lambert's almost close to petering out as much as Hainela did, right? They need
Yeah.
to make some changes. They're sticking with the status quo here because they think their drop off from the President's Trophy to this was I don't know. I'm not I don't know what the right word I'm looking for there, but I think they're like almost like it was bad luck, right? And just a few tweaks and they're going to be right back to the top of the league. Yeah, a few tweaks might get them back into the playoffs, but it's not winning them the Stanley Cup at this point. You need Hellbuck played wicked in that President's Trophy season, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, he won the Hart, he won the Vezina. He fell off a little bit this year. He wasn't his normal self, and look what happened,
Mhm.
right? And I'm not analytical enough to know, was it a lot of the defense fault? Was it Hellebuck's fault? All that kind of stuff. But changes need to be made here. And it seems like they're just sticking with the status quo. And I blame Chevy more than I blame Arniel. I've never been a huge fan of Arniel, but he got it done last year with his President's Trophy. Playoffs, different matter. But this year he was hamstrung. What could he do? He couldn't even call guys up. They had no one they could trust it there. So to me, I would have probably moved on from Chevy, and which would have also moved on from Arniel at that point.
Oh, for sure they would have. Yep, they got a couple kicks at the can. They got to get the offseason right. And also, like, I get it. Um, the drafting has been trash. But it also doesn't help when you're signing trash, but also when not trash, I shouldn't say trash, they're professional hockey players. Signing players that just don't fit in, we'll say, And at the same time, you're limited to who you can sign. Let's not also forget that. The next preceding GMs and GMs forever in Winnipeg will have to deal with the fact that almost every prime player in the league has a no trade clause in Winnipeg and no one will sign here as a free agent. Like, that's a fact. That's not hyperbole. That's a fact that they've dealt with since the 80s or since free agency in the 90s. Sorry, my lie.
But that's where you need to hit on these draft picks, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, you
Absolutely.
lost Steelers this year, right? Which you obviously needed the guy.
Yeah.
And I don't blame him for trying to getting out and looking for a better opportunity. Has it happened for him in Carolina? Yes, he had a very good, season points wise, but I don't know if he's getting the first line minutes or the first power play minutes there enough. But again, you had to do everything to retain that guy. Replacing him with Jonathan Taves and Gustav Nyquist, big mistake, right? And you have to get these young guys. You have to hit on these draft picks, and that's how you convince them to stay. Right? Being in Winnipeg, seeing what Winnipeg actually is, guys love it, right? Look at Shifley, look at Hellebuck. Hellebuck could have gone wherever he wanted.
Like,
at that point.
Many draft picks have been complaining, I need to get out of Winnipeg. What, Trouba?
No, I know Trouba, Evander Kane, Patrick
cool.
Laine. There has been enough guys, but there has been more guys that stayed.
Absolutely.
Right? Morrissey, Connor, Shifley. But that's where you need to get these guys into the organization here, show them what the organization is, and then they'll stay. Yes, trying to convince a guy and his wife and 2 kids to come from California to Winnipeg is going to be a tough sell, or Florida to Winnipeg, right? So that's why you need to hit on these young guys and convince them that Winnipeg is a great place to play. But the way they've been treating and playing young guys lately, that's not happening, right? So why are these guys going to stay, or why are anyone going to get excited to be drafted by Winnipeg? Because this is turning into a younger league and a speedier league. A lot of teams are trusting these young guys. Look at Lane Houston in Montreal. He's taken on a huge role. And he was drafted 3 years ago, 2 years ago.
We're talking about 2 different things now, though. Like, it's either they hit, and like you're saying, they're not hitting on their draft picks. So why would they be playing players who can't play? They got to they got to hit on those draft picks to let them play. Like, if they keep missing, they're not going to just force these young guys. And even that's why you're playing guys who are at 50-60%, I guess, because that's how
right. But
them at all.
There's the blame there on the misses, right? Who's missing?
No one's taking that blame away. No one's taking that blame away. But
we praised Chevy with these first few drafts he had with Morrissey, Shifley, Connor, blah blah blah, right?
Yeah.
Now who's getting the blame for these shitty drafts?
He is.
No one really right now. He's not though.
Of course
we are giving him blame.
Yeah.
But the Jets organization is just like, yeah, you're doing a good job.
I don't think that's what's happening behind the doors. That can't be what's happening behind the doors. Like, obviously they're allowing him to stay, but there's no way he's saying, "Oh, that's fine. Keep doing what you're doing. Stay the course." There's no way a management group or ownership group would be like, "Yeah, you're cool with what you're doing." There's no way you can come from a President's Trophy to a failure of a season like this and not say anything.
But where is it? He screwed up this offseason, that last offseason. The thing is, you went from President's Trophies winner to, you lose the Oilers. Okay, you got to figure shit out. And he made the worst decisions that he has made probably in the whole time here with his offseason moves.
Yeah.
Plus, your cupboard is bare. You don't trust anyone on the Moose.
But I don't think they're saying like that's cool with what's going on. I think they're very much in realization that their cupboards are bare. They have to.
Have you read that Mark Chipman letter? It didn't sound like there was any.
He's not going to do that in public. Not many owners. Where is it? Do that in public.
To me, if you were doing anything, you would have fired someone or made some kind of change. Nothing's changed.
Yeah. But I think it's kind of like, I don't know what the word is, but I find it hard to believe that they'd be like, okay, par for the course after what happened this year.
Well, let's see some changes then.
Well, there has to be. There's no way they're going with the same squad. They know they can't.
Well, I know that, but they're going to sign Jonathan Taves back again.
Oh, God, Christ.
If
he plays fourth line, I have no problem.
Sure.
But so let's talk about what the Jets need to do in the offseason and get fans excited, because that's what we're going to next year. Speaking of Jonathan Taves, I think he should play fourth line. So they need a number 2 center and they need a top 4 defenseman. That's all I have to say, because they've been struggling for that for the past 3-4 years to make that happen now. That would get me excited.
Yeah, besides making some kind of change in that front office scouting department, yes, they need a 2C. They've needed a 2C for a long time, for 2 seasons now. And I get it. It's tough, but that's where you need to hit on these draft picks. You're not going to convince some guy. And that's the thing. You got Stasny in here, right? And Stasny enjoyed Winnipeg enough to stay here, right? You got to get someone like that. But and if you have to overpay a little bit, you're going to have to overpay.
Yeah.
But you have to make sure it's the right guy. You paid $3.5 million or whatever for Nyquist. Jonathan Taves, yes, sure, bring him back as a nostalgia kind of thing, but fourth line, no more than that. Lowry's your third line guy. He had a rough season this year too.
Absolutely.
You know, so you need to find someone that can play well with Perfetti, but you also need another winger there. Because I'm trying to think right now, what were you had Velarde playing top line. Who was your other winger there? Why am I blanking? Iafallo can't play top line minutes. Nemestikov, Niederreiter are kind of on their way down, not up anymore, right? So you need one of these Moose guys to be able to step up. But it is make this that you got the 8th overall pick. Unfortunately, just missed the first overall pick by inches, game of inches. But you got to make sure you get that right pick in that spot.
I'm not sold in Perfetti in the top 6.
Yeah, but what else do? You have no one else.
Move him. I'm not sold.
Well, I'm kind of agreeing with you. And I was sold on Perfetti last year, and they should have signed him longer. But after watching this year, I don't know. But what else do you do? If it's not Perfetti, you have nothing else there. Unless you're going to trade this 8th pick for someone that can come in and play now, that's not old and not too old, but is still young, still a RFA that you can control over the next few years, then you trade that pick. But otherwise, he's probably not playing for a couple years, this pick, right? Who knows? So I think the Jets are kind of hooped.
We'll see. Well, what else can they do to get fans excited?
Yeah. You again, obviously winning that draft lottery would have helped, because then you could possibly be getting a Gavin McKenna or someone like that. But right now, it's just your off-season moves. You have to bring in some high-end free agents. You may have to overpay for them, but you have to get guys in. That second line needs to be revamped, right? You can't rely on Scheifele, Connor, Velarde to carry your team. Plus Hellebuck. DeMello didn't have the greatest season. Pionk went back to being Pionk, and now you got him for 7 more years or 6 more years or whatever's left. And Morrissey's coming up too. And I love Morrissey, but you're going to give him a high-on contract, and he's past 30, right? So
yeah,
this is going to be a tough offseason for the Jets. They have to get the moves right.
I'm concerned. I'm not very optimistic.
Yes, no, I agree with you on that one.
Winnipeg Jets fans, put your comments in the comment section below. Sorry to be pessimistic about it, but I'm just being also realistic about it.
Yeah.
Benny, do you have anything to say to our friends?
You know what? Good to be back. Thanks a lot for listening. Don't forget to subscribe and follow. And you know what? The Moose lost tonight. They're down 2-1. Hopefully they can make a run. So go Moose, go.
They're on the road tonight.
Yeah.
And in the words of Ed Whalen, in the meantime and in between time, that's it. Another edition of Ray and Benny Talk Sports.
Hey, friends and neighbors, don't forget to check us out online on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at Ray Benny Sports. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel. Leave a like, leave a comment, tell us what you think.